The information provided on this show does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice. Instead, all information on this show is for general informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for legal advice, and we recommend viewers consult an attorney for specific legal matters.
Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs, and welcome to our new set. What do you think? Let us know about it. We'd love to know your thoughts. I'm attorney Eric Glazer, and I'm board certified by the Florida Bar in Condominium and Plan Development Law, and my law firm, Glazer and Sachs, has offices in Hollywood and Orlando. And you know, Rob, just me being here today should send a very clear message to all of the viewers that I clearly didn't win the Powerball yesterday. You know, that's
maybe next time.
Definitely not. Yeah, what chances were? What, one in like, I don't know, God knows how many million. Insane. Yeah. But two winners, one in Missouri, I think, and one in Texas. Wow. But not here. Hey, Karen Curtis is out with the flu today. We wish her well, and she'll be back with us next week. And as you know, we're here every Sunday at 11 a.m. on the Condo Craze and HOAs channel on YouTube. And again, that's made possible by all of our fantastic, wonderful, can't say enough good things about our sponsors, including our diamond sponsor, Best Roofing. And we love to answer your calls and your questions about the issues that make life in your condominium or HOA absolutely crazy from 1 minute to the next. I think we're doing it for over 15 years now every Sunday. And of course, the number to call in, 717 Glazer 8. Again, that's 717 Glazer 8. Do not wait to the last minute, or that's 717-452-9378. You can also visit us on the Condo Craze and HOAs channel on YouTube, and you can ask the questions in the chat box. Now, today, you might be a little confused. We're supposed to have a special guest, Anthony DeFonseca, who is General Counsel and Chief Administrative Officer at Best Roofing. And I get an email last night telling me that he has kicked off his plane because they had mechanical problems. And he was rerouted to this morning, new flight, and he's just not going to make it here in time. So tune in to Best Roofing and Anthony DeFonseca next week, and a lot of important topics to discuss about roofing, whether you live in a high-rise condo, whether you live in a private home in an HOA. Now's the time to watch it, especially in the middle of hurricane season. And not to jinx us, but it's been pretty quiet. There was something out there that was supposed to potentially hit us, but that dissipated and went away. So we're not looking at anything. All right, so change of topic today. And the new topic is going to be for condominiums. And it's the fact that condominiums must now have an exhaustive account with the DBPR, brand new statute that went into effect. Matter of fact, it's going into effect. It's going into effect October 1st. So it's actually coming up. So get ready. For those of you in a condo, I would tell you right now, take your phones out, okay, right now in advance. And Rob made a great QR code that you can be able to point at the screen, and you'll be able to set up your account with your condo, again, just by pointing your camera at the screen. So get it ready. All right, so here's the new law. Here we go. And it says, on or before October 1st, 2025, all condo associations must create and maintain an online account with the division. That's the Division of Condominiums for the DBPR, and provide information requested by the division in an electronic format determined by the division. The division shall adopt rules to implement this subsection. The division may require condo associations to provide such information no more than once a year, except that the division may require condo associations to update the contact information within 30 days after any change. So again, to be clear, guys, not only is there a requirement to open this online account with the DBPR, but there's also a continuing obligation to always update it. okay? The statute goes on to say that the division shall provide a condo association at least a 45-day notice of any requirement to provide any information after the condo association creates the account. And here is a list of the information that the DBPR is going to be requiring from you, that the Division of Condos is going to be requiring from you. So again, get ready, jot this stuff down. You may want to have it handy before you actually decide to go onto the website. So we'll do this slow, okay? This is all the information you're going to need to get in advance. All right, the easy stuff: the name of the association, the physical address of the condo property, mailing address and county of the association, the email and telephone number address for the association, the name and the board titles for each member of the association's board. Those of you on the board may also be officers. Name and contact information of the association's community association manager or community association management firm. Of course, that's if you have one. Some do not. The hyperlink or website address of the association's website, if applicable. Basically, almost everybody listening now should have one or just about be ready to have one. The total number of buildings, and for each building in the association, the total number of stories, including both habitable and uninhabitable stories, the total number of units, the age of each building based upon your certificate of occupancy. Some might not know your certificate of occupancy. If you don't know it, please get that information. You'll have to turn it over to the DBPR. Any construction commenced within the common elements within the last calendar year. You have to have information ready regarding the association's assessments, including the amount of assessments or special assessments by unit type, including your reserves. You got to know your purpose of the special assessment that you just passed, the name of the financial institution or institution with the association maintains accounts, a copy of any structural integrity reserve study, and any associated materials requested by the department within 5 days after the request in a manner prescribed by the department. Now, that's certainly a lot of information. They describe it at first as a limited website. Does that sound kind of limited? To those of you that's listening, it's a lot of information, and the DBPR wants to track all of this with every condo in the state. And by the way, it's no matter the size of the condo. Irrelevant as to size. Bottom line is all this information has to be put up on the link to the DBPR by October 1st. So again, get ready. Again, get your cameras at Terry of the DBPR, and she sent out this email. And here's what it says. Below, please find the information needed to help the association with which you register for an online account. And should anybody have any questions about this, if you get stuck setting this up, take this phone number down. Here's the number, 954-202-6831. I'll repeat it again, 954-202-6831. Or if you need help, you ready? CTMH education at myfloridalicense.com. Again, CTMH education at myflorida.com. And she ends it, enjoy your day. Melanie, thank you very much, Madam Secretary, for providing us that information. And Rob, you now got the link up there.
QR code is up.
Great, that's great. Take a picture of that. Every one of you in a condo is going to need to click on that and register. They want a lot of information from you. The question is, what are they going to do with it? Love to know what you guys think. Has the DBPR kind of gone too far? Do they really need all this information about your condo and every condo in the state? What are they going to do with it? I'd like to know. And when we come back from the break, everybody will take your calls. We'll take your emails. Pick up the phone. Give us a call here in the studio. 717-GLAZER-8. Again, 717-452-9378. Or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. We'll take our first break, and we'll be back right after this.
are very large management companies and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
All right, good morning, everybody. Again, welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs. Keep the calls coming in, 717-452-9378, or drop us a comment or question in the chat box on YouTube. How about we go to the first call of the day, Rob?
Sounds good. Let's go ahead.
Go ahead. Who do we got?
Looks like Marie from Fort Lauderdale.
Good morning, Marie.
Hey, good morning, Eric. Hey, hey, thanks for taking my call. Hope Karen's going to be okay.
She will be.
Well.
She'll be
okay,
back.
couple of questions.
Sure.
Once the board members move, suddenly move, they run for the hills. Can the residents take them to small claims court after if they find improprieties done while they were on the board?
Well, the question is, what did they do? You know, did they steal money and that's why they're getting out of Dodge? Then, of course, they can be sued.
Possibly. There's a million different things. Yeah, possibly money, kickbacks. I know that's all hard to prove.
Right.
You know, just lack of transparency. We've got assessments and we have no idea why we're paying for the assessments, what we're paying for. There's been no transparency at all. So
okay, so hold up. So a new board comes in, you're not sure what the special assessment is for, okay? When a new board comes in, that board, if they want to, they can stop the special assessment. Just because a prior board passed a special assessment doesn't mean that a new board can't come in and say, wait a minute, we have no idea why they passed that special assessment. It's not like there's a pending contract going on, perhaps, that you have to keep paying towards. If there's not, then the new board can come in and cancel the contract. But if, of course, if you have cancel special assessment, of course, if you have a contract that you got to keep paying towards, then you don't want to cancel that special assessment. Or because if you cancel the contract, you're getting sued.
There's no contract. So
yeah. So if you're not sure what the assessment was for, you know, you can cancel it. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Another question: if say I want hurricane shutters or hurricane windows put in, and the board and I find a company that prices it out for under $20,000. If the board comes in and says, "Oh no, you have to take the company that we select," they're charging $33,000. I know in the docs it says that the board has the right to pick the color, the type of windows, blah blah blah, the specifications. But do they have the right to select the company and actually so that you have to pay more for the windows?
No, the only thing the board has to do is create hurricane specifications that the unit owners must follow. There is absolutely nothing in the statute that would require the owners to follow the mandate of a board to say you must use this particular vendor. Board can't do that. All they can do is say, again, we want you to follow these specifications. That's it. As long as you do that, you're good. You can use your vendor.
Okay, sounds good. And just one real quick thing. Do you think that if the board president is working for an attorney who is the condo association's attorney, isn't that a conflict of interest?
It might be. It might be because that board attorney, it could be argued that board member now has an incentive to feed that law firm litigation so that she gets to keep, he gets to keep their job. I don't know. Something about it that I'm not really, it's not really sitting well with me, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But
all right.
it might not necessarily hold on. But the thing is, if that director is not gaining financially from it, then technically under the law, it's not a conflict of interest. But the question is, can it be argued that that person is gaining financially because they now have job security? That's the question of the day. Okay. Thanks for the phone call.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who else we got, Rob?
Bye-bye. Bye.
Next caller is Liz from Palm Beach County.
Good morning, Liz.
Yes, good morning. I live in an HOA, and our HOA attorney, like you, he's board certified in HOA and condo law.
Great.
And he happens to live in our community.
Okay.
And he's a sole practitioner in his law office, and he recently personally certified all 5 of our board members.
Great.
Now, here's the issue. He interprets the law that went into effect last year to mean that as long as an HOA has written rules and regulations specifying which type of roof is allowed, and in our case, it's flat concrete tiles, the HOA can absolutely prohibit metal roofs.
No, they can't. I totally, no, attorneys can differ,
this is
right?
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead. You go.
Yeah, I was going to say that, this interpretation's shared by other HOAs. We've talked to a number of our friends who live in different towns and communities in Palm Beach County, and they say the same thing, that the metal roofs are explicitly banned and they have to put the flat concrete tiles on because that's what it says in their rules.
So if you look at, hold on.
Okay.
So if you look at the new laws that came into existence in 2024, July 1st, 2024,
right.
The statute now says that as long as the roof material meets ASCE standards, right? ASCE standards, then that's it. They cannot prevent you from using the materials that meet ASCE standards. Metal roofs meet those standards. Now, what could they do? Can they say you must use certain colors? Of course they can say that. Can they say that the roof has to have a certain shape to it, a certain design to it, as much as possible to match the other roofs in the community? Of course they can. But can they say to you, even though the best material out there is a metal roof, you can't use it because we just don't want metal roofs in the community? Absolutely not. And I'll stick by that all day long, 7 days a week.
Well, that is what our board certified HOA attorney says. We absolutely can prohibit metal roofs.
Well,
so here's my question.
Yes.
Has there ever been a case of a homeowner successfully suing his HOA to allow for a metal roof when the rules and regulations prohibit them?
Well,
our attorney is adamant that we can prohibit metal roofs.
Well, I don't know of any, but, perhaps there will be one, and we'll see who wins that case. But,
it might be in my neighborhood.
Just as much, just as adamant as your attorney is, that's how I feel about the issue as well. Okay?
Okay, all right. I think it's really interesting because he's basically, he's given the training. I wish the board had gone to your training class, but they went to him, and so this is the information they have.
All right,
and that's what we're operating with.
At the bottom of the hour, we'll go through when those classes are going to be available. And I'll just say this, they're coming up really quick, and they're going to be all over the state. So maybe they'll come out. Okay, I would look forward to meeting them. All right, and debate the issue with them live.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you so much. Who else we got, Rob?
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, next caller is Shelly from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Shelly, good morning.
Good morning. I have a question about fining.
Yes.
I live in a co-op, and I'm just wondering, how can somebody appeal a decision that is made by the association's fine committee?
Okay, that's it.
Is it possible to do?
There's under the statute. Okay, so just let's really walk everybody through it really quickly. Under the statutes, defining statutes, it starts off at the board level, right? So it's the board who imposes the first fine. Let's say Unit 609 has been parking in guest parking for the last 5 days, right? And the board wants to fine that person. So it goes on the agenda for a board meeting, and somebody at the board meeting makes a motion to fine Unit 609 $100 a day for 5 straight days because they parked in guest parking. Somebody makes a motion, it's seconded, and all in favor say aye, and Unit 609 has just been fined by the board $500 for those 5 days. To a hearing in front of that fining committee with 14 days advance notice. You go in front of that committee, and that committee has one job and one job only, and that job is to either uphold the full $500 or knock it out completely. That committee does not have the authority to reduce it, let's say to $250. Now, they can't do that. It's either 0 or $500. Now, the question is, suppose the fining committee comes back with a $500 fine, right? They uphold what the board did. So the question is, now where does the unit owner go from there? And the only thing you can do from there is to file some sort of a court action challenging what the board and the finding committee did. And the only way to beat it, I would think, is to show that there was some sort of violation with the procedure that was used by the board and the finding committee. That's what I would think. I don't know if the court has the right to kind of take the decision away from each of those, from the board and from the finding committee. But if the procedure was done incorrectly and it violated the statute, absolutely, I would say the court has the authority to throw that fine out.
So if there was someone on the fine committee that was like it was a conflict of interest,
Well,
or
if the person, okay, so the statute says that a person on the finding committee also can't be a board member related to anybody who's on the board, living with somebody on the board, then yes, if that was violated, unquestionably the finding committee was not put together correctly, and therefore they had no authority to do anything. So certainly that would be one way of challenging it in court.
This particular fine that I'm looking at was levied by the manager on behalf of the board. So my question was,
I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about that. It was levied by the manager. So let me back up and ask the question this way. Was there a vote? Was there a vote by the board of directors that says this person is fined the amount of blank?
I don't think so.
Then to me, this attorney's opinion is that fine is now completely invalid because the board of directors did not take a vote to impose that fine. Okay, that's what the statute requires. Okay, so let us know how that turns out. But whoever's been fined, you can tell her that again, my opinion, that fine is completely invalid. Why? Because the board didn't take a vote. The board has to take a vote. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for answering
Thank you so much for calling in. Keep them coming. 717-452-9378. 717-452-9378. Rob, who do we got?
Next caller is Jim.
How are you, Jim?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you so much.
I manage a condominium in the era. And I'm looking at item 3. I took several screenshots of Florida statutes, 718-111, paragraph 3. Item 3, age of each building based on the certificate of occupancy.
Right.
Our buildings were built as apartments back in 1998.
Well, that's interesting.
We don't have it. Yeah, we don't have a certificate of occupancy. I was actually asked for one this year for the first time in 10 years of managing. By a mortgage company.
Okay.
And I called the county and they said, we don't have one. There's not a digital copy.
Well,
I said, how do I get one? And they said it doesn't exist. So I know the age of each building. We just don't have a certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
Is this important? Should we have one?
So the requirement says the age of the building based upon the certificate of occupancy. If you don't have it and you can't get it, then I think you do the best you can. I'll tell you what might be a way to kind of come close. Do you know what the name of the property was when it was apartments?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what I would suggest, okay, it's a possibility. Do a check on Sunbiz. Throw in the name of the apartments in Sunbiz, right? See if it comes up as a prior corporation. See when that corporation was initially filed with the Secretary of State. And it could very well be that if you look at the date that corporation was initiated, that's potentially when the date was, or pretty close to the date was, when the certificate of occupancy was created. Make sense to you? Take a look at when the corporation was created, and there you go.
We know when the buildings were built, and I have blueprints and everything, so I just don't have a cert.
Yeah, I mean, you can only give them what you got, and if you don't mind me just educating the listeners or the viewers that are tuning in right now. So you were saying that prior to it becoming a condominium, it was what, a rental community?
There is apartment complex.
Okay,
yes.
So when it's turned from a rental community into condominiums, that's what's called a conversion condominium. Okay, a conversion condominium. It's a whole separate portion of the Florida statutes. And there's a whole bunch of things that go into a conversion condominium. One of the things, funny story. One of the things that has to go into a conversion condominium declaration of condominium when it's transferred from a rental community to a condominium, of course, a declaration of condominium is created. And one of the things that's attached to that is a very extensive report prepared by an engineer, right? You'll like this one, Rob. Prepared by an engineer outlining the condition of the condominium property, right? What it was rental community. Now it's a condo. The unit owners are allowed to know what the condition of this property is that they're buying into, right? So a good friend of mine, an attorney who's also practicing for so many years, tells a great story about that property wound up in litigation, right? So what does he do? He sets the engineer down for deposition in the litigation, right? And the engineer shows up with a seeing eye dog. So you tell me how the engineer did the conversion report, because you have to physically and visually inspect the condition of the roof. So wild story, huh?
Wild.
But that's a true story. That's what happened.
Can't make this stuff up.
Can't make it. No, not in, you tell a condo or HOA story, who's not going to believe it? The crazier it is, the more likely people are to believe it, right?
It's absolutely true.
Who else we got?
All right, let's see. Let's go to Mike, Coconut Creek.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Long time. I'm a long time watcher of your show, and thanks for some of the only free advice unit owners can get.
You know what? I'm going to stop you there. And I'll tell you this, and I'm so happy that you say that. The truth is that what you just said is very true. Oftentimes, people cannot afford to go see an attorney. I don't have to tell you, it's pretty expensive to go see an attorney, go sit down with an attorney. And I'm very happy to say, very proud to say that oftentimes the only time that they'll ever get to talk to an attorney about a legal issue is on this show. So I'm very happy, very honored that you understand that, you appreciate it, and thank you for telling everybody else. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks. And I've learned a lot over the years watching your show, because you're the only way to learn information.
That's what we're here for, Mike. How can I help? Yep.
Yeah. My topic this morning is good and welfare.
Okay.
So I live in a community that has their condos, and I live in an association, a community in Coconut Creek that has 100
units,
condo buildings.
100 condo buildings. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Probably 100 associations.
Got it.
Yeah. And the pattern, what's happening here is that at some individual condo meetings, it just happened at my last meeting, the board voted to discontinue Zoom meetings.
Discontinue them, okay.
I thought this was a very bad idea, because at least half of the residents in my building are snowbirds.
Right.
And we also have meetings for a higher form of government here, right?
Yes.
And they're doing things like they have the Zoom on, but then when it comes to good and welfare, they turn the Zoom off. Because, there's been some drama here with not producing documents, but people who want them, and the drama that goes on.
Yes, right.
So we need some good advice.
Okay, so let me.
What are the unit owner rights?
Okay.
I know that when you're at the meeting,
right,
each unit owner has the right to speak for 3 minutes on each agenda item.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes, each unit owner has the right to speak on each agenda item, okay? The question is, where on the agenda do you have the right to speak about that agenda item? Do you have the right to speak about it after the board voted on that issue or before? And there's nothing in the statute that talks about that. So most boards say, okay, we're going to do our business. And then at the end, after we voted upon everything, that's when we're going to allow everybody those 3 minutes. But I want to back up and I
Now-
want to talk about, hold up a second. I want to
Okay,
get back
sure.
to the Zoom questions because I got to tell you, I'm very much in favor of the meetings being broadcast by Zoom, very much in favor of it. But I will tell you that especially when it comes to the annual meeting, right, there's a whole bunch of new regulations under the new statute that's going to make it potentially very difficult, and I mean really difficult, for especially large communities to have a meeting that's broadcast by Zoom because, number one, it's going to require a quorum of the board members to be physically present at the actual physical location, and it's going to require the association for owner meetings to count the people that are on the Zoom meeting, right, as being in attendance. In other words, counted towards the quorum. So there's going to be some very, very difficult things that boards are now going to have to do in order to actually have these Zoom meetings. And I think it was an absolute mistake to make it so hard to have these Zoom meetings now going forward. But your specific question was, can they shut the cameras off before they get to the good and welfare portion? Now, a lot of boards are confused and they think that the good and welfare portion happens after the meeting is adjourned. So maybe that board is thinking that, well, we're adjourning the meeting, we're letting people talk, and therefore we don't have to broadcast it by Zoom, even though we started it by Zoom. That would be completely wrong, okay? The good and welfare portion, the right for everybody to speak for those 3 minutes, that happens during the actual meeting. There's no such thing as adjourning the meeting and then letting everybody to talk. Everybody that has a right to talk has a right to talk while the meeting is still going on before it's adjourned, and therefore do not shut off the Zoom until that meeting is actually over. As you'll see, and we're going to talk about this, and we have spoken about it previously, once you start, there's an obligation to maintain those videos, right, as the complete videos of the meeting as an official record of the association. So no, do not shut that camera off. The meeting doesn't end until everybody has spoken, okay? Let's do this, Rob. Let's go to our bottom of the hour break. Taking your call, 717-452-9378, 717-452-9378, or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on YouTube. When we get back, we'll give you the schedule for the classes as well. Considering you asked about them already, be back right after this.
Roomkiss Consultants offer the professional expertise to help condominium and cooperative communities provide safe, compliant buildings for their tenants. We have more than 170 Florida-licensed engineers and architects who are experienced with local regulations and can assist with Senate Bill 4D compliance. We can help with milestone structural inspections, capital expenditure evaluations, structural integrity reserve studies, and developer transition reports. Focusing on energy, resilience, maintainability, and sustainability, our experts can help with every phase of the building life cycle. Contact us for inspections, building restoration, repair and remediation consulting, or mitigation after a catastrophic event.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm attorney Eric Glazer. We're here on Condo Craze and HOAs. We're here each Sunday at 11 a.m. to answer your questions and answer your comments in the chat box on YouTube. As a matter of fact, let's go to our first one of the day. Let's see. Google Far writes in, no dog condo. Is a visitor with an emotional support dog required to advise the association or management in advance of arriving? The tenant's lease does not allow dogs. So there's a lot of communities out there that say, period, you pull up to the gate, there's a sign right there that says no animals, period, you can't come in. Now, the owners that live there, and maybe the tenants, and certainly the tenants that live there, I should say, they're allowed their service animals, they're allowed their emotional support animals, of course. But the question is, what about somebody coming in with an emotional support animal, right? They're in the car and they say, and they got the little fluffy dog with them, and they say, I'm coming through. Even though your sign says no dogs allowed on the property, I'm coming through with my dog because it's my emotional support animal. Does the community have to let that person in the car? And there's a lot of research on this. I don't know if there's a case out there, but I think the consensus is no, they do not have to let you in. The association owes an obligation to comply with the emotional support animal law to the owners that live there. You have to comply with the Fair Housing Act, but to the persons that live there. But do they owe a duty to people that are visiting? And most attorneys say no, they don't. And therefore, you can prevent that guest from coming in with their animal if your animal is a no pet community. So I hope that answers your question. Lots of people commenting on the new set. Appreciate it very much. And on that note, let's go back to the phones.
All right, over to Mary from Palm Beach County.
Hey, Mary.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
My question has to do with the limited common elements. My lanai has a closed-in porch, and it's screened in. Bottom part is a plastic screening. The structure itself is moving, and I've been telling the property manager that part of the screening or in-screen porch.
Yeah, when you hold on, when you say the structure,
my responsibility.
Wait, when you say the structure is moving, what do you mean by the structure?
The structure meaning what the screening is sitting on or in.
Are you talking about the concrete floor of the patio? Or are you talking about the screening itself?
It's just the screening is in a structure. It's got paneling.
Okay,
like
so
a panel.
is that how the unit came with that structure that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so probably my hunch would be, yeah, you can't say for sure, right, until you actually see what the Declaration of Condominium says. But I would say it's pretty good shot.
Read it to you.
No, we're not reading. We never allow reading of documents on the show, right? I'm not going to give opinions, but somebody just reads out the documents to me. Bores the hell out of people too, don't you think, Rob? Yeah, bores the hell out of everybody. So no, we're not going to do that. But my hunch is that the association's probably responsible for it. Maybe you might be responsible for the screening itself. But what houses it, the association might be responsible for, and certainly for the concrete foundation that it sits in, you can bet that that's the responsibility of the association, right? We're not going to have every single member of the association be responsible for their own concrete repairs. That's something that's going to be done by the association. So, Mary, I hope that answers your question. Okay, thanks so much for the call.
The concrete repairs are the people, the units.
That would be really unusual if the concrete repairs of your balcony itself are going to be the responsibility of the owners. That's typically something that the association is responsible for. They fix everybody's at once. Everybody typically gets hit with a big special assessment. Now we got to do all the concrete repair work, and that's how it's done. To leave it up to the individual unit owner, they wouldn't do it. And it could potentially result in dangerous situations. And that's why, normally it's the association that does it every single time. Very, very, very rare. I don't even know if I ever heard where the individual unit owner is responsible for it. But Mary, thank you for the call. Appreciate you calling in today.
I'll come see you. If they're going to fight me on this, I'm going to come see you because I'm going to sue them.
I look forward to it, Mary. Thank you so much. Be well. Hey, somebody writes in that it's LK writes in, Happy Grandparents' Day. Didn't know that it was Grandparents' Day. So to those of you out there who are grandparents, and I get the feeling there's a lot of them on the listening to the show, watching the show today, Rob. So happy Grandparents' Day to every single one of you. Not a grandparent yet, but hoping to be. Okay, how about we go back to the phones?
Yep. Next caller, it just comes out Jay. Hopefully your name is Jay.
How are you, Jay? Whoever Jay is.
Hey, I'm good. My question is, what recourse does the community have when the current president will not spend the money budgeted for specific items like roof cleaning and tree trimming, etc.?
You know, it's listen to how you ask the question, right? You ask the question is, what recourse do you have when the president won't spend the money on certain items that are already in the budget? Why is the board leaving that decision up to only one person, which is the president? Your question is flawed. It's not the president that's not spending the money. It's the board that's not spending the money. Again, we teach this all the time on the show, but the president, just like any other director on the board of directors, person has one vote. That's it. They don't have typically any special spending power over any other board member. If something is in the budget, the entire board of directors owes the community the responsibility of spending that money on things that are in the budget, right? So again, the question should be directed to the entire board of directors, and the blame shouldn't just be put on one person, the president. The blame lies with the entire board if maintenance isn't being done. Okay, so go back and scream at your entire board, not just one person.
Okay, so should we do it officially, or can we just do it in a meeting?
You should go to a meeting, right? When you get to the good and welfare section, like we've already discussed, right, you can raise it and do it in a professional way. Don't scream and yell at the board. Don't blame anybody for anything. Just ask a question. How come this is in the budget, and it's supposed to be providing for maintenance of the community? And you can please tell us why it's not being provided for, why the money isn't being spent. And then let's see what your board says. Okay? We got to take our final break of the hour, though. All right, keep the calls coming in, 717-452-9378, 717-452-9378. Back after this.
In South Florida, the transition from bright sunshine to heavy rain and hurricanes can take a toll on your property's exterior and structural integrity. Cracked stucco, spalled concrete, they're more than eyesores. They can signal deeper issues. Now, with new Florida laws involving structural integrity requirements, we want to help you meet your milestone inspections and maintain the durability and beauty of your building. Since 2004, PD has been the trusted expert in structural concrete restoration, painting, and waterproofing for condominiums and commercial properties. Visit pd-concrete.com or call us today.
Life is full of steps. We learn to take small steps and big steps. We take steps toward adventure, to discover what's next. At South State, helping you take each step is what inspires us to keep moving forward, so you can keep enjoying what's next in your life. This is banking at its best. This is banking forward.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the final segment of Condo Craze and HOAs. I just want to remind everybody, as you know, Education is now mandatory. If you don't get certified within 90 days of getting on the board, you are off the board. Not only that, for condominium board members and HOA board members, you have to do continuing education each year. So I put together a class that's going to teach the beginning class for the mandatory beginning class for condo directors, the mandatory beginning class for HOA directors, and the 1-hour continuing education course for condominium board members, okay? Those 3 things. You can satisfy 3 things in one shot. And that's going to be taught at the L&L Condo and HOA expos all over the state. The classes start at 8 o'clock in the morning, each one, okay? So here we go. I'm going to give you the dates, and I'm going to give you the places. Again, they all start at 8 o'clock in the morning. Each class is going to be 4 hours long. But if you need the continuing education class for condominiums, this class satisfies that as well. Here are the dates and places. Broward, we're going to be there October 7th. Palm Beach, October 16th. Tampa, October 21st. Bradenton on October 29th. Miami, November 5th. And Orlando, November 12th. To sign up for any of these classes, go to condocrazeandhoas.com. Again, condocrazeandhoas.com. Rob made it a really fantastic website. Tells you everything you need to know. All right, let's go back to the board for a second. We'll take some of the questions. What if the board doesn't have a violation committee? It's difficult for people to establish in my association, right? That's a tough committee to establish. We hear that all the time. It's not a place where you want to win friends and influence people if you're going to hit them with fines. A lot of people are just scared to sign up for such a committee, and quite frankly, maybe you can't blame them. So if you do not have such a committee, very simple. You cannot fine. No way around it. You cannot fine. Goldie writes a question in that says, what is the county website to look up who the board members are in my condo association, please? There is no county website, okay? There's a Florida website that's linked to the Division of Corporations, the Secretary of State. And what you do is you go to Sunbiz, S-U-N-B-I-Z. I think it's .org or .com. I'm not sure, but Sunbiz, S-U-N-B-I-Z. And that's the Florida Secretary of State's website, Division of Corporations. Type the name of the corporation, type the name of your association in there. You might have to put in 1 or 2 different varieties on the name, but you should be able to find it. Once you come up with the right one, click on it, and there it is. It should list all of the current officers and directors in your association. The association is to provide this information every single year. It's called filing an annual report with the division. And just by doing that, going to Sunbiz, then you should be able to find it. Very simple, okay? All right, back to the phones, Rob.
All right, next caller is Warren from Coconut Creek.
Hey, Warren.
Hey, Eric, you're fantastic, by the way.
Thank you so much. Really
I listen
appreciate
to you
it.
every week.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
How can we help?
My question is, there is a gentleman in one village that is president of his village. He wants to become president. He wants to become on the master board of 40 villages. And we understand this guy has problems with authority.
Okay.
How do we handle this guy?
Well, the question is, how does he go on to get elected to the master board? In some associations, it's automatic, right? So let's say you have 5 different sub-associations. He's appointed by whom?
The 3 board members that we have.
Okay, so it's an appointment. So just to educate some of the listeners out there, sometimes you'll have a bunch of different condo associations, right? And they're what's called sub-associations. Right. And then you'll have one master association. And the master association is made up of a person or persons from each of the sub-associations, right? So how do you know who gets from the association? Right. How do you know who's going to represent that sub-association on the master board, community? And the answer depends upon what's in the bylaws of the communities. Most of the time, like you said, it's an appointment. Typically, it's the president of each community, each sub-association automatically serves on the master board. Not all the time. Sometimes you'll have a vote in every single sub-association where somebody runs to be the appointee, right, to the master association. So it depends. So you're saying that this person you don't want on the master board, and that your sub-association board should not put that person on the master board, correct?
Correct.
Right. So how do you
Because
stop that?
He has, there is one couple that you know that lives in that village.
Right. Okay.
And
no names. Do not mention any names.
no names. I understand the program quite well. I'm a nuclear pharmacist, retired, by the way.
Got it.
So, you know, we know that this guy is a troublemaker, so to speak of.
Right. But the bottom line
He's
is,
loud.
yeah, the bottom line is it all depends upon what the governing documents say. If the governing documents say that the 3 sub-association board members are the ones that get to put them there, then they get the right to put them there, period. I mean, you can complain to those 3 sub-association board members that, you know, we don't want to be represented by that person, but ultimately it's their vote. Okay?
Okay, well,
not much you can do about it. Thank you so much.
Sparkling day.
Hey, thanks so much for the comments. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, let's see. Any other questions? Call it the white Glazer blazer. I love that, huh? People are liking the look. Okay, call in. We got 5 minutes left. 717-452-9378. 717-452-9378. All right, let's see. Will non-board owners be able to look at this information on the DBPR's website? Absolutely, yeah. Any website that's that the DBPR puts out there, any information, they should be able to look at it. Not just non-board members. It's there for, I would guess, anybody who wants to buy a unit in that community. They should be able to get all this information about the community. And again, we already know that there's going to be information posted about with your structural integrity reserve studies, right? Now we're going to know what banking information, where you do all your banking. We're going to know when your community was created, how many stories it is, etc. And all this information is being put out there so that people buy into community with a lot more knowledge than they previously had. You know, that's the bottom line here. And I think that's probably a good thing, right? Everybody should know as much as they can about the community they're about to move into. Especially, you know, it's interesting. I gave an interview this week to Karen on WIOD, and a very interesting topic came up about older condominiums versus new condominiums. I think you also sent me this story, and Rob, and it turns out that older condominiums are selling right now for about half the price of newer condominiums, but they're selling at a pace much faster than the newer condominiums because the newer condominiums are so damn expensive, right? It's a very interesting article, right? Yeah. You would think that these older condominiums, right? People are scared to buy into the older condominiums. They're worried about these special assessments that are coming up. They're worried about these mandatory reserves that are coming up. But it seems like the reason potentially that they're selling so well is because the prices have come down because of those things. Right. Because there's going to be mandatory reserve funding, because there's going to be mandatory repairs. Now, the interesting part about the article was, and I don't remember who the experts were that they were interviewing, but it was like persons who own real estate firms in the community. And they were saying that, you know what, this may be the case for now, right? But it's not going to be the case in the future. When we get, and I always said this, so we've said it a million times on the show, there's going to be a period of time in Florida where it's going to be rough. No doubt about it. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have problems paying these special assessments. There's going to be a lot of people that might not be able to afford the new amount of their assessment because it's going to include reserves. But once we get past this period of time where, you know, this kind of works itself out, the truth is, and again, we've always said this, Florida will have the safest, most well-funded condominiums of any state in the entire country. You can't argue that. And when that happens, when we get past this period that we're in right now, the older condominiums will spike up. The amount of them will spike up because they've leveled off, right? They've started paying their reserves. They've made their repairs, so the values of those homes will go up, and it should level off, and the prices of the new condos may start coming down.
Nice.
And I'll tell you, a lot of the people that look at the real estate area, they like the look of the older condominiums anyway. Not everybody's into the most newest, looks out there. Some people would rather have old Miami Beach type style looking condominiums.
That and the rooms tend to be larger.
Right, exactly right. That was another part. Right, there's generally better value for the money, much larger bedrooms, right, much larger kitchen areas, and things of that nature. Exactly, the article did say that. So I think once we get past this difficult period of time, right, I'm not going to deny that for many it is a difficult period of time we're in. But once we get past this, whether it's another 2-3 years from now, I think Florida's real estate future looks very bright. People are still moving here left and right. I mean, the amount of people coming to our state has not leveled off. It's just I think it's getting bigger and better every single year. We still have the weather. We still have crime is not as bad here as it is in other places. So I think it's just going to continue that way. No state income tax. So again, if you can make it through, if you can hang in there, yes, you're only going to benefit in the long run. Hey, I think that brings us to the end of another show of Condo Craze and HOAs. Thank you, everyone, for the very nice comments that you made today about the show, about our set, about me. Appreciate it very much. If you need legal help off the air, just give our firm a call, Glazer and Sachs, 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. Don't forget to tune in next week. We're going to have Anthony DeFonseca from Best Roofing, and it should be a great show. Thanks, Rob, for setting that up. And again, have a wonderful, safe, healthy week, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. Take care.